Hey, Light of the Valleys family, welcome to the next video of our Epiphany devotion series. I just have one quick question that I want you to consider for today. What makes a good leader? I'm sure all of us can think of different people that we've been around throughout our lives, whether it's coaches or teachers or whoever else that we've really looked up to and even enjoyed being around because they are good leaders. They're good at organizing people, good at communication. Maybe they have a lot of compassion and empathy. These are people that we want to follow through whatever problems that we have to deal with, whether it's on a sports team or in the workplace or wherever else. And yet, at the same time, when you look throughout the pages of history, pretty quickly you begin to realize that there have been plenty of effective leaders out there that are not so good. You can think of plenty of different kings and emperors and dictators who rule with an iron fist, who ruthlessly squash anybody who stands in their way, who are selfish all the time. And it's kind of confusing to look at the world around us and realize that a lot of the people who get into the highest positions of power, where you're ruling over kingdoms and countries, often are the worst people of all. So, the Bible offers a very good explanation of what a good leader actually is. It's something that we're going to be taking a look at in this next Epiphany story, as we see how God draws an interesting contrast between a sinful, very selfish human being by the name of Herod, who was the king of Judea, and the true king of the universe, Jesus, who rules in a way that is completely different. Here's what happened. After the wise men left the city of Jerusalem, things were not looking so good. A lot of the people felt a little bit uncomfy because they knew that Herod was upset. He had just found out that there was supposedly a new king of the Jews that had been born in his country, and that meant that there was a rival for him, a rival that he wanted to deal with as quickly as possible. And so, to deal with the problem, Herod came up with a plan that he thought was totally foolproof. He decided that without any warning, he was going to send a bunch of his soldiers down to the town of Bethlehem, where they were going to kill every single little boy ages 2 and under, hoping that he would be able to kill Jesus in the process as well. I'm sure when Herod came up with this plan, he thought he was super smart, that nobody could figure out what was coming, but he was wrong. As great as Herod thought he was, there was no way that he was going to be able to outsmart God. The Lord ended up sending a vision to Joseph, telling him to pack up his bags, get out of town, take his family down to Egypt, and thankfully, Joseph listened. That's exactly what he did. He took Mary and tiny little 2-year-old Jesus with him down to Egypt, kept him out of harm's way, and that meant that Herod's plan, as smart as he thought it was, ended up being a total failure. And the plan actually also ended up revealing how pathetic Herod was. I mean, scared of a 2-year-old? Seriously? Come on. So Herod might have been ruthless, selfish, and violent, but Jesus, even as a 2-year-old, was a better king than he was, and a totally different king as well. Jesus wasn't violent or cruel. He was loving, always putting the needs of others in front of his own. And Jesus was also not super prideful and arrogant. He was humble, always willing to go through dangers and discomforts for his people. And so that means that just as you could trust Jesus when he was 2 years old, you can still trust Jesus with everything that's going on in your life right now. No matter what problems you might be facing, whether they're big or they're small, you can take those problems to your King in prayer, to Jesus, knowing that he's going to deal with them, that he's going to be with you, no matter what it is that you're going through. And best of all, you get to know that that same King Jesus, who finally died on the cross for your sins, is still leading you right now, guiding you along every single step that you take in this life, so that finally you get to enjoy heaven forever with him. So glad that we get to follow the King together. Until next time.